Hey guys, what's going on? Back again with another zombies video. And for this one, I want to go over some stuff that I recently saw that might tie into what we're getting for Black Ops 6 Zombies in 2023. As you know, right now we're kind of in the middle of a different Ether story, and it's kind of like Demonology Ether story, and I guess like a red or a green type Ether in Vanguard Zombies. And it doesn't really, or it might be like a prequel, as you guys know, to the Cold War Dark Ether story, and we didn't really see too much, or I guess we'll find maybe an answer to what happened at the end of Forsaken, end of Cold War. But again, like I said, I saw some information. I can't really discuss what I saw, where I saw it. It's just the fact that you gotta have to kind of know some of the um, Treyarch devs and how they work and how they come up with the story, including like Craig Houston. That once you see something or the breadcrumbs that they've put in front of us, you might be able to start piecing stuff together. But and that's the way that I usually solve it. And I mentioned before, if you're not familiar, I used to be the one that used to force feed all the answers to the big channels. That kind of backfired. I'll be honest with you. It turns out that like a lot of people don't want or are always going to be skeptical when you give them answers and stuff like that, or they're always going to be doubtful and negative and toxic about it. So I kind of just put this up on the internet. Whoever finds it, whoever watches it, good for them, to be honest. And I realize, like I mentioned before, there's a big difference between the zombies community, people that really care about the story, people that are searching for answers, people that are playing the game and grinding, going high rounds and looking at the backstory, looking over stuff that we missed, solving Easter eggs, and the zombie YouTubers that just pretty much report on everything. And a lot of the answers and videos that they make, like I said, a lot of it's force fed to them, and they just kind of put up videos, and it's kind of like a love hate relationship, I guess you can call it. But again, with all that being said, I want to go over some stuff that I saw. Again, I'm not going to exactly say where I saw it, just want to talk about the topic. And for the sake of putting it up on, YouTube as a kind of like a documentary style in a way, or to document, um, what my thoughts at the time right now, we're in the middle of January 2022. And I like to do that to see, next year or 2 years from now, if I ended up being right, if the pieces were put together correctly, or everything was kind of solved correctly. Again, I think my mistake with Cold War and the director, I think that might, and that's another reason too. It kind of spoils stuff for people and it ruins it for the devs. So, keep in mind that if you don't want anything to get spoiled for you or potentially get spoiled or ruin the surprise for you, that don't watch it. Kind of just wait and see how it plays out. Because again, with Forsaken and Cold War, a lot of people had a general idea or speculation that it might be Rick Toffin as the director. But again, you have to understand zombie YouTubers, what they do, and it's something I mentioned years ago, so it's nothing new. It's not like after the fact. They'll throw like five different theories or ideas to the wall and hope that one of them sticks, and then they'll, if they're right, if one of those five theories or ideas are right, then they kind of make a video saying that they're the next Nostradamus. They can predict everything. They know everything how it happens, and they're the smartest one in the zombie out of the zombie YouTubers that can solve everything. But the way that I do it, I don't make five different theories. I piece everything together, and then I eventually come up with a final solve for it. So with that being said, I was the one that kind of solved or kind of saw the bigger picture that it was going to be Rick Toffin, and I gave all the answers, and I gave the answers to Treyarch, and I gave some answers at the time to some of the big channels, which, like I said, I know was kind of like a mistake. And you live and you learn, and it's kind of like the last shot at it to kind of help the zombie YouTubers. But like I mentioned recently, they're just going to be toxic no matter how much you help them, no matter what goes into the game. They're always just going to be toxic. So again, like I said, I'm just doing this to put it up on or document it digitally, like a digital journal, like I mentioned before too. Is I saw that we might actually get a conclusion of what happened in the frozen forest with Samantha and Primus and Ultimus, because it's the same thing. People have a lot of theories or speculations like, hey, maybe this happened or that happened, or they'll have like 4 different theories of what happened at the end of Tag Daytona and Black Ops 4. And I know right now I'm talking in between like 3 different games. I'm talking about Vanguard, I'm talking about Cold War, and I'm talking about Black Ops 4. So again, with that being said, you just got to keep in mind the stuff that I saw recently. It makes me kind of have an idea of what's going to come for Black Ops 6 in 2023, because next year is Infinity Ward in 2022, or this year in 2022. We might actually get some Dark Ether zombie stuff there, and that's the same thing too. People are putting up videos saying zombies isn't coming to Modern Warfare 2022. But if you look at the pieces, we might actually be getting some zombies for Modern Warfare. I don't know in what form necessarily, but it looks like we might be getting some type of zombies or a different mode other than Spec Ops, because I think right now people are saying, oh, it's definitely Spec Ops. They have inside information. But of course, everybody has inside information. Like, I could make this and say that I have inside information, but I won't, and that's the thing. And then everybody starts believing nonsense that people put out there. So next year is going to be 2023 that we get Treyarch back in a Treyarch game. So it looks from the stuff that I've seen recently that, again, people were right about what happened in the Frozen Forest. And it goes to show that if you kind of trust your gut feeling, but at the same time, you kind of have to have some support with that, some answer to that. So it looks like, the speculation, I'm just going to be a little bit honest with it, that people assume that Nikolai isn't dead because we don't see Samantha killing him, kind of like you saw when Nikolai killed. And I guess that's the comparison that they're trying to show, is they show Nikolai killing zombie Richthofen, but they don't show Samantha killing Nikolai, and people might say it might be too graphic, but that's easily debunked because they literally show Richthofen getting obliterated, so to speak. So that's where we're at now. People have some speculations and theories that Nikolai is still alive somewhere. He's in hiding. But that's the thing, like I'm trying to tell people, is people have theories, ideas that they throw at the wall. They might have 3 or 4 different theories of ideas they're going to throw to the wall. But after some stuff that I've seen very recently, I think we might actually dive into and see what happened at the end of that cutscene, get some answers from either Samantha or Nikolai might eventually show up again. Again, I'm just saying it one more time, kind of like what happened at the end of Cold War, where people had a general idea it was either going to be Richthofen as a director, or it was going to be somebody else as director, or it was going to be like a red herring. It was going to be like Craig Huzin said he's going to pull the rug from underneath us. He said that with Black Ops 4. But the main thing you have to do, and that I do, is I only give one answer, which is a solve, and it's not necessarily, me giving 3 different answers saying like Nikolai's dead, and then another video Nikolai's alive, and another story, Samantha shot him, and in another video Samantha didn't shoot him. I'm saying right now it looks like there's gonna be some truth to that Nikolai is definitely alive somewhere, that Samantha didn't shoot him. And I think that makes for a very exciting Black Ops 6 that's coming in a couple years. And don't be so sure that we might actually get a continuation of Cold War. What if, like, now Treyarch wants to trick us and say, hey, you have to wait another couple years after that, or maybe we won't get a conclusion, like I mentioned before, to Cold War. Maybe now we're going to pick up at the end of Black Ops 4, and we're jumping around to different time periods where don't be so sure we're going to get a conclusion to Cold War. It might be another, 5 or 6 years after that before you get a conclusion to that. cliffhanger. So maybe now we're going to get in Black Ops 6, it looks like we're going to get maybe a conclusion to what happened at the end of Cold War and jump around that way instead of just kind of doing what people expect and having a conclusion to Cold War and show that Rick Toffin's doing this, Rick Toffin's planning this. Maybe Black Ops 6 is going to start out at the end of Black Ops 4, kind of like what movies do, and that's kind of what I'm hinting at also. You got to kind of follow the breadcrumbs that Treyarch does. So don't be surprised, like I said, if for some reason we see maybe, and I know I've mentioned it, so this is kind of a little bit of a contradiction itself. The devs sometimes don't want to keep diving back into old storylines, but that's the thing. Sometimes to sell games, and they know that like you're gonna have to kind of get people hooked on what's coming in Black Ops 6. Maybe the on disc map or the on disc story is gonna be, hey, we're gonna see the conclusion of Black Ops 4, what happened in the forest. We're going to get some answers to where Eddie is, maybe, or what happened with Eddie in at the end of Black Ops 4. And then maybe if Treyarch or Call of Duty figures, hey, it's about time we kind of showed people what really happened in the Frozen Forest. And some people's theories might actually be right, that maybe what we're speculating happened or didn't happen might actually be shown to be true. And like I said, the way you solve stuff is you have to try to figure out like how the devs think. And I saw some stuff recently. I'm like, oh, that is exactly probably the way or the route that they're gonna go in the next game, is to kind of maybe show us some answers of what happened in the Frozen Forest. So again, like I said, I can do the zombie YouTuber thing and put 3 different theories out there, and when one of them's right, I look like a genius. But my final answer or solve is going to be that we're actually going to see what happened, upcoming what happened with Samantha and Nikolai in the Frozen Forest, get some answers to that, get some closure on that. Not necessarily start out at the conclusion of Cold War, but maybe at the conclusion of Black Ops 4. And like I said, there's a lot of stuff out there that, like, hey, stuff doesn't always, and I know Blundell used to say, stuff doesn't always happen in a continuing straight line. It happens, time happens differently in the zombie story, so we might actually jump now back to Black Ops 4 and see what happened at the end of that, or maybe get some answers. I don't know what form, if it's going to be a cutscene, a map, or whatever, but knowing the devs like I know them, and Craig Houston like how I know them, I wouldn't be shocked if we get some answers for Black Ops 4. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. I might eventually talk more about it. We get closer to it. Or if I see anything else that comes to mind, I'll let you guys know. I'll see you guys.